Hello, everybody. This is Bernhard, and I'm happy to introduce a friend of mine, Josune, for this beautiful interview on the program, Dream Your Best Future. I don't think that I have to introduce her a lot, but maybe you should know that she has a very, very special profession, which might call your attention. So please pay a little bit close attention, and I would like to ask Josune now, Etheria Chikara Gulna, to introduce herself and to explain us a little bit about the name.
Okay, hello Bernhard, nice to see you and nice to say hello to everybody here. Yes, I am Josune Moneo Viloria, that's my real name, my name in real life. But my professional name as a dreamer, that's an alter ego that I have created myself, and it's called Eteria Sikara Gulna. Why this name? Well, it's three words. That's because in Spanish we have one personal name and one family name from the masculine part, and one family name from the feminine family. So mother and father family, and that relates to the Trinity that is bringing us to life. So I was going for a three name alter ego, and the personal name I took that refers to a historical personality of a woman that was a traveler in the 4th century, and she was traveling from Spain, from Iberia, to the to holy territories, now in Israel, and that was a incredible trip for the 4th century because she was doing that by foot, and she was taking about 4 years, I think, to do the trip. And she was indeed creating some chronicles on the adventures she was going through, but those chronicles were falling hidden somewhere, and nobody was knowing about those chronicles until the 19th century. So it took 15 centuries for humanity to really know what this woman had to tell. And I think that's the point of a dreamer. So some dreams do live for 2,000 years or 3,000 years. It doesn't matter. They can survive in the collective memory until they get fulfilled. And it's not a problem to have a dream that will take 2,000 years to get fulfilled. If you are the dreamer creating the dream, then somehow humanity will know about your chronicles. And that was my reason to pick Hetheria. Also because it was so difficult to find a famous traveler from the past. I was looking just for a female that was a famous traveler from the past, because I am a traveler myself. And it was very, very difficult really to find one. So I was so surprised to find this woman and her history that I wanted to take her as my alter ego name. And then the two family names are just two words that I was taken from Japanese and from the Viking languages, just to imagine like the Japanese culture or mindset as the masculine part, or the one ruling on my masculine, and the feminine as a Viking. It was like a game on that, no? So that I took that name to perform as professional dreamer, that others used to call visionaries. But I think everybody has a vision, and we are all visionaries. But the real difference, it is when you are about to dream without taking time in account. Like, okay, let's make a forever dream.
Well, yeah, dreams have that. They're timeless.
Yeah,
It's like the never-ending story. I really like that. So it means you have for your alter ego, you have this traveling woman, chronicles of this traveling woman, one of the pioneers maybe back in the early times, and the way of the warrior as a Japanese male part of that first last name, and the Viking, the Valhalla, the Viking mother. That's very, very interesting. But besides that, when you said your profession, a professional dreamer, I mean, we all are dreamers. We all have dreams, but how can you understand, or how can we, the community, understand you? What is dreaming as a profession? Not visionary, because visionaries, the world is filled with visionaries, but we lack dreamers.
Yeah. Well, taking account, I come from Spain and I'm Spanish. One of my most appreciated figures of reference, that's Don Quixote. Quixote is the dreamer for excellence. Yeah,
yes.
the real dreamer. So we Spanish people tend to be good dreamers. But apart from that, I think professions itself, they appear to cover real needs. Okay. And I think one of the needs we have is to have better dreams. We are at a moment of an incredible potentiality that takes us to a future scenario that we cannot even imagine because of the incredible potentiality. We don't know how it's going to deploy because it's too big and it's too global and it is too fast. And then I see most people, what they have in mind, it's a kind of future that I don't even want to survive. I mean, they are imagining tragedies and misgraces and everybody collapsing and the world falling down, and the planet taking us to mandatory extinction because of our stupidity or stubbornness. And the most positive ones, they are seeking for another planet to go and colonize.
Yeah.
So I have done myself as a coach and also as a human and also as a traveler some research in seeing what kind of vision is people at all envisioning. And I see a terrible need, an urgent need of changing the size and the quality of our dreams. Yes. And I think we need to teach people the importance of dreaming and the importance of allowing yourself to dream whatever you want, not just like whatever you see possible for tomorrow. Yes. Or whatever you see already coming for next year. So try to imagine that you are just dreaming, and dreaming means dreaming. So dreaming is for free. I can tell you, I can share you a very funny story of myself playing around with my two, my nephew and my niece. They were like 9 and 7 years old that time. And I was taking them to play a game. I was saying, okay, you only have to say what you want, and I will tell you if I can grant you it or not. Okay. And then, but feel free and wish whatever you want, whatever you want. I told you, whatever you want. I was insisting. Then they went for command plane, and yes. Then maybe a fuchsia dress with matching shoes. Yeah, yeah. And then I was coming after, and I was saying, okay, then I want a ship, a spaceship, big enough to take us all over the universe and stop at any planet or any satellite, thanks to a small ships to really just make a visit. And then we will have dish tennis, table tennis, or one spa area and a garden. And they were like, yeah. And I was saying, why are you looking at me like this? They
Yeah.
are looking at me, they were looking at me like saying, how have you not advised us that we could go for something like that? And we were asking for such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
I never told you you have any limitations. The limitations you have, you created yourself. I was asking
Yes.
you to dream, and you were asking me for such a stupid dream. But I wanted you to know that when you are dreaming, you cannot dream on material things, on things you can imagine already. You need to go for things that are completely out of order, even.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that appear unreal. I think I like some of your wording very much, and I know that you have a very strong power of words. I mean, a very precise and clear wording background. One of the things I like most is the difference between a dream, which is something unrealistic. You can dream whatever. It's fantastic. It's fantasy, so that is fantastic. Instead of the vision. The vision usually has to be clear, laser focused, and it's materialistic. It's a certain outcome. So the vision drives us to certainty. The vision drives us to reduce ambiguity. The vision drives us to security. And right now, as you said, people are afraid. We're facing. That's what I want to get to. We're facing uncertain times, uncertainty, we're certain ambiguity, and we're facing insecurity. But what you're saying is we're facing potentiality. So depending on the word that you use, the outcome is marvelous, fantastic, wonderful, or the outcome is gray, sad, and scary.
But
So
in
I
all,
like that. I like that. So catching up on the answer of the prior question, I can understand that you're making dreaming a profession,
yes.
visionary dreams, fabulous dreams. But what would you consider to be the most important ability or skill of what you are, a realistic dreamer? Because I think your profession is not just a dreamer, but being a realistic dreamer.
Yes. Well, if you think of writers and art creators, they are all dreamers. They are all creating fantastic worlds and scenarios. So
Mhm.
it's not like we are inventing any new thing, okay? So, but exactly what you mean is realistic dreamer. You were mentioning, for example, uncertainty. For
Yes.
me, ignoring that life is a matter of uncertainty, that is already a sign, a signal of how unrealistic we normally are.
Yeah.
And we are completely out of reality if we forget that reality means uncertainty.
Yes.
Okay, we can seek tranquility, we can seek certain tranquility when we govern our lives in a kind of imbalance in which we
Mhm.
are really taking care of each and every aspect and creating attention on all the things that are requiring us to put attention at.
Mhm.
But if we are not doing that, we come into the illusion of security, but that security is unsustainable. And in the end, we feel fear.
Yes. Yes.
So it won't take us to be feeling quiet inside and calm and tranquil. We will have a fake feel of security that is based on routine,
Yeah.
but not on responsibility.
Yeah.
And then being a realistic, the most important skill to be a realistic dreamer is
Mhm.
to learn how to scale your dreams down to earth. So how to see the way to start right now, from now, to turn into the dream you are envisioning.
Mhm.
Like, for example, if I want to dream of a future of sustainable life for humans on Earth, immediately I will know that the very first step will be humanity in peace, because you cannot grow up any prosperity without peace, and we cannot imagine any sustainability in a prosper nature without being prosper. So if you want to align with nature, you will need to learn how to develop prosperity. But if you need to develop prosperity, the first condition will be peace. So a realistic dreamer will come down from sustainability into prosperity, from prosperity into peace, and from now towards to peace, from peace towards to prosperity,
Yes.
from prosperity towards to sustainability.
Yes.
So it's like you need to see how to calm down in different steps, and where are the conditions to be reached to really flow into that vision, but from the real situation in which you are now. And that is the difference between a writer and a professional dreamer.
Yes, yes, no, and of course, it's something that when we talk about humanity or the world, we have to do it ourselves. I mean, we have to start with us first.
Of course.
So,
And also, sorry, Bernd, but what I say is sometimes I talk people, okay, I'm dreaming, I'm working to let's say, to implement a certain strategy to help us tend into a future sustainability.
yes,
And
okay,
for me, the first milestone is peace.
yes,
When I get there to the first milestone, most people tells to me, no, you are stupid. You are thinking of stupidity. That's absolutely impossible. I say, okay, imagine that we take 400 years to reach human peace. Won't be worth? We have been needing 170,000 years to simply reach here
yes,
without being able to do it. So if we start to dream it now and we need 400 years, that's nothing. So
yes, yes,
it is worth to try, even if you know you will die without seeing it. For example, Gaudí in Barcelona, he was envisioning the Sagrada Familia, the church, and he was knowing his dream was bigger than him. He
yeah,
was knowing, I will die without seeing my church, but I will know that it will be built, because it's
yes.
such a marvelous thing that humanity will fall in love with it and will follow on after my death. And that is the point for me.
I think the main difference is that we try to make our visions come true, our visions, but the thing with dreams is the dream may come true whenever. So it's independent of us. So now, if we think of all of what you said, what kind of instructions, or specifically from your point of expertise, what type or which language instructions or guidelines could you share with the community in order to achieve this?
Well, I am, as you know me, I am especially focusing at how we use language.
Yeah.
As in the end, the language is the semantical code on which we transcript our interpretation of reality. So the way we use language will actually make a big influence on how we at all perform in reality. And also the way in which we express ourselves will reveal a lot about how we are figuring out the reality in which we are. Then, after my own journey and after my own experience, if I have to give a recommendation to anyone to become a much more realistic dreamer, I would say try to learn to speak and think only using I or we. Delete you, delete they,
Yes.
delete any sentence in which you are presuming you can imagine a country talking or a city talking. Like
Yes.
people is very confident saying, Germany has said, I
Yes.
imagine, where is Germany talking? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is there a place where people is putting an ear like this and says, what is Germany saying? No, Germany doesn't talk. European Union doesn't talk. Okay, my city, Valladolid in Spain, doesn't talk. Okay, the United Nations, I cannot talk with them. So if my issue is with the United Nations, it's better I send an email. Okay, it's not something I can discuss with my neighbor.
Yes.
So if I want to come down to earth, no matter what I'm figuring out for the future or for the future generations, but if I want my sentences to be realistic, they need to start with I or with we.
Yes.
And then you will be talking of something that is completely attached to you, relates to you, and will take you to your own references.
Yeah.
And that's for me the healing. That's for me the healing trick.
Yeah.
The more you train into this, I can tell you that me, myself, I was taking at least one whole year to re-educate myself, my talking, my thinking, to change this. And I was really stubborn on it. So I was really pushing and pushing and pushing and correcting every day until I managed.
Yes.
But I'm not going to say 100%, but probably if anybody watch my discourse along this interview, won't find any sentence relating to anybody unless me, myself, we both, we humans, we people, we now.
Yes.
Okay, and that is absolutely real. Any other thing, it's just imagined opinions, assumptions, imaginations, and in the end, it takes us to talk about nothing.
I think, as you said, those are projections that what we think, believe in others, and what they generate is not an us. It's either against. It's a competition and not a togetherness. So I really appreciate you bringing up that point because it's extremely important. For me, it's only me, myself, and I, us, and we. Everything else doesn't matter. So together, because it's the only way that we can really get out of this and make our dreams come true. It's together. So what would you consider, what else would you add as a facilitation tool besides the language, which is extremely, extremely important to be aware of our language, of our own self-talk, how we talk to ourselves, how we talk about ourselves, how we talk to others. So what other tool or strategy, like the one that you mentioned, focus on me, I, and we, would you give to anyone wishing to become a professional, realistic dreamer like yourself?
Well, again, after my experience and after the learning that I got along the journey that I'm doing for 6 years now, so it's not like I started yesterday. And I started when I was 44, so I was also not a kid when I was started. My conclusion, it's very much related to a pearl of the Arabic wisdom. That is a sentence that tells you, if you want anything to disappear, to be burned out from your life, take it to disappear from your words.
Yes, yes.
But if you want to take it to disappear from your words, you have to be aware that words, like anything else in reality, do happen in 3 levels. Because my words, they are here, they are here, and they are here.
And in your heart, and in your heart.
Yeah, in my subconscious memory, probably too, and in my DNA, but daily in my life to take control, and from my consciousness, I will consider these 3 levels. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
This is relative easy to control.
Mhm.
This is the second easier to control, but this is incredible, because if you want to make this appear from your life, you and they, you will need to change the kind of people you're talking to, the kind of conversations in which you are getting involved.
Yes. Yes.
And you will need to change practically your whole life.
I
Because
think.
most people, after my experience, if you stop them and try to bring them down to I, we, please do not tell me about anything else, they run away or even feel offended.
Yes.
And then from my part, I say, I don't care what you're talking about. In sense, I should tell you what to talk about, but you are not allowed to tell me what do I have to invest my time in.
Yes.
So I'm not going to waste any minute talking to you, pretending like we are 2 United Nations people here,
Yes. Yes.
bringing solutions for the world that nobody will ever listen or know. And after having that nice discussion, we will go home feeling like the world has been rescued thanks to our marvelous vision. So as soon as I met unrealistic people, I try to be kind. I try to avoid any offense. I try to be kind of well-mannered person, because at first I was really radical. I
I
was
know.
lot
I
of conflicts.
I
Okay.
know. I know.
I was needing that, and I was knowing unless I am radical, I'm not going to get out of this.
Yes.
And then now I have learned to take it easier, and I have learned how to emule Houdini.
Good.
Then I escape as soon as possible. So when it happens that I met such conversations, such people that do not ever pronounce a sentence starting with I or we,
Yeah.
I simply disappear.
Disappear.
I have something else to do. I have something urgent to do.
Yes.
I need to go. I excuse myself, but I go and I don't
Yes.
stay.
I think it's very important that you mentioned that, because when you gave the tools, when you mentioned it, I missed a little bit that part, which for you might be extremely obvious because you live it, and I've been a witness of your transformation, because I met you when you were extremely radical. We still got along, but you were very, very radical. It's that one thing. It's like, yes, I will stop talking to these people. I will, but I think we also need to stop reading and listening to them, especially now on social media, especially now where we're all connected. One of the most important traits that you mentioned basically introduces to that. It's like, just stop paying attention to them.
Well, but I'm not going to say I will stop talking to these people. I will stop involving
Listening.
myself into this conversation.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe another day I will talk to that people. If they are talking realistic, I will sit down with
Yes.
them and I will have no problem. I mean, I'm not labeling the people, okay? And also because I have done my own journey to get out of that
Yes.
cage, I know how deep trapped we are into it.
Yeah.
And I will never blame anybody for being there.
Yes. Yes.
I name it saving mode. I play myself on saving mode. So I will save myself this conversation because it's not going to bring me anywhere, and it's going even to maybe create for me any conflict.
Yes.
And then I simply disappear. But next day, if I see that person wishing to have a one-to-one conversation and really coming into a certain empathy and confidentiality,
Yeah.
and we are talking about something that is just not even realistic, but personal, which is always real,
Yes.
then I will be pleased to be there. Only I don't get involved into debate or discussions about opinions. Okay,
Yes, definitely. It's not worth it.
say opinions are the real poison of our time.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you again something that I think is very, very clarifying, at least for me it was, because it was helping me to see how strongly I was marked by my Occidental mindset, and how much that way of talking was actually something that I have inherited from
Yes.
my Occidental tradition. When I was in Africa, in West Africa, Senegal, Guinea, Gambia, that area, because Africa is huge,
Yeah.
and that area is very small. But I was there for 1 year doing several trips and expeditions and working and getting involved with people there, and working hand in hand with local people. And I saw nobody has any United Nations opinion. They simply sit down by the sea and look at the sea, but don't tell the sea what to do to please the humanity. Or they do not figure out what we shall do in Spain to solve our problems. They are just focusing in their reality.
Yeah.
So they were really helping me so much to see that another way of thinking was possible.
Yeah.
I was just sitting by them and admiring them for being so realistic, not simple, realistic.
Really, yeah.
Okay.
I think the main point is, if you have an open mind, it's a funnel, you absorb, you learn. If you have a closed mind, it can't come in.
But I don't think they have an open mind. They are maybe as close as ourselves.
No, you have, because you saw
Myself.
that.
Okay,
That's what I mean, because you come from the Western part, and you go there and your mind is open, and you don't expect things to be like back home. No, you take them as they are right there, and you respect and accept them.
Especially wherever I go, it doesn't matter where I go, I always seek for whatever is strange, different, and difficult for me.
Okay.
Because that creates me a challenge that that takes me to really overcome my own barriers, and discover new worlds upon the ones I have already visited. Okay, so and for me, this experience with the African people was really like, I say it was like a natural healing, okay, because it was simply taking me down to earth in a way that I was never able to do thanks to coaching, or thanks to books, or thanks to theories. No, no, no. It's better to sit down together with someone that is able to simply sit down by the sea, having nothing, no money, no water, no food, even no cigarettes, nothing, and just spend 2 hours listening the flow of the sea, and understand that life is a matter of flow, and that's all.
Yes.
And we don't need to pretend the sea to obey to our wishes.
Yes.
And that was for me an absolute experience of clarification, really.
That's very, very well noticed. And I think we couldn't finish this interview with better words, with a better phrase. So I thank you so much for your time, for the interview, and for the great time that I had talking to you and asking you. And thank you so much for the value you're giving with your experiences and with your thoughts. Thank you so much. And
thank you very
we'll see each other next time, some other time. Okay.
We make further. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you very much, Brand.
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.